And now over to Danny Aiello III with the Amityville weather. It's going to be foggy for about 30 seconds, then the sun's going to burn it off, then it's going to come back again in a couple of minutes. I don't think that's how fog works, but whatever. And however long this movie takes, forecast calls for indoor rain and wind. Plenty of night fog and snow heading your way this weekend. Perfect weather for two Catholic clergymen to take an impromptu camping trip together. I'm their priest. He's with me. It's the Amityville 2, The Possession Watch-Along.
Wow. That was quite an introduction. Hello, one and all, to the Everything Sequel podcast's watch-along of Amityville 2, The Possession.
And we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Well, now what are you referring to? Because, all right, for people that know our show and know our watch-alongs, they know that on the watch-alongs, you do an endless amount of research and homework, and I do
this
nothing.
time I had to stop just so I could keep what I had learned in my head. because honestly, this the lineage of these movies is difficult to understand and retain.
So that was my question. What, like, after what you had just first said, are you referring to the fact, because I literally just this morning learned that there are 17 Amityville movies. Is that what you're referring to?
You're underestimating it, actually, Michael. There's the basic list of films in the Amityville series is 20 titles long. And that's not in counting related spin-offs. Basically, you can put the word Amityville in front of literally any piece of garbage. That seems to be the rule. And I'll tell you at the exact point that I stopped researching, which was when I discovered the title of the most recent Amityville property, Amityville Poo, Killer Poop 2.
No.
2022.
Well, I missed that one, I think.
Well, it's just come out. I don't even know if it's come out yet. It's this year. But whenever I try and search Amityville 2, The Possession on IMDb, that's what comes up first. Which tells you how illegitimate this sequel is.
The last one I had listed was Amityville: The Awakening 2017.
I think that's right. Basically, long story short, this series is out of control. Okay,
it's crazy.
I mean, I picked this movie for the watch along because I knew it was an outlier within the Amityville series. But when
was my question. That was my next question. Why are we doing this?
Right.
Because normally
and I was right. However, doing research into the series as a whole, the whole series is an outlier. These movies bear no connection to each other as far as I can tell.
Looking at the titles, that's what it looks like. It looks like each movie is an independent movie, free from all other movies in the series.
Okay, so I'll try best as I can to explain.
And at some point, I'll just put my cards on the table. I think I'd like to do Amityville 1992. It's about time.
We're okay. I'm gonna draw a line in the sand right now. We are never doing this series on the podcast.
Oh, come on.
No, never.
Come on.
I don't mind doing another watch along of an Amityville movie because all of them fit our brief for watch alongs, but I am never tackling this series on the podcast. I will
listen to me. We could do a whole year.
Yes.
And a half.
Yes.
Oh, well, now
you've explained my reasoning as to why we're never doing it.
Come on. That's so much fun.
We that's it. I mean, there's a whole spin-off podcast there.
Woo.
And we're not even past the A's in the alphabet. So, but I'm going to try best as I can to kind of put this sequel into context. Bear in mind, my brain is spinning.
It must be
with contradictory facts about this movie. Okay, I can't hold it all in my brain pan at one time. Okay, so if I sound like I'm having a stroke, that's the reason.
So
okay?
Are you saying you have found sets of facts that directly contradict each other?
Yes and no. What I mean is, like, normally you like. Okay, well, let me just start from the beginning and let's see how coherent I am, and you can ask follow-up questions. That is literally the best way to go about this.
Okay, fine.
I don't even know what I'm talking about on a conceptual level. I'm just gonna tell you what I learned. Okay?
I understand. Okay,
so and probably the easiest way to do this is talk about how we do watch-alongs.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 3 criteria. The first one, we premiere our watch-alongs on the release date anniversary of the movie. In this case, September 25th, 1982.
Mm-hmm.
And that's significant. Both parts of that date are significant. They're obviously September 25th. They're trying to cash in on the seasonal box office for Halloween. It's when a lot of horror movies are released in the movie calendar. In
the ridiculous assumption that they'll still be in theaters by October 31st.
Right. They're just there to catch the first Halloween decorations going up.
Yeah.
And the other part of that is significant is 1982, because this was the year that Poltergeist was released. Mm-hmm. And this is a film that Amityville 2: The Possession has significant overlap with, to the point where I think people have Mandela affected things that happen in one into the other. But also, and this is relevant to a podcast of yours that has recently wrapped up, Project 1982, just the general toxicity of this film is explainable within everything that you and Matt Aldrich have learned about watching the movies of 1982.
So can I just say that, first of all, for the audience, we're watching this on HBO Max.
Yes.
And I have it paused at 0 seconds, ready to go. Mm-hmm. And it says rated R, and underneath, speaking to what you just said, it says adult language, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, rape.
And this is the cut version.
Jesus Christ. Fuck.
But yeah, I mean, that's, could you sort of apply those descriptors to any movie from 1982 almost? Yeah.
I'm looking at you, cat people.
Could you just put, in fact, could you put rated R, it was made in 1982?
Yes.
And so on the watch along, we like to pick films that are difficult to categorize as sequels, that don't quite fit neatly into into traditional sequel formats. Boy, is this fitting this brief, because I'm gonna defer to Wikipedia's description of this movie as a loose prequel, which is generous.
Prequel.
Generous but accurate.
Okay.
So here's the story. Amityville Horror comes out. It's a huge hit. It's based on a piece of nonfiction writing about a real life family being terrorized by paranormal phenomena in a house which had about a year ago had a horrible multiple murder happen within it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So basically they want to make a sequel. Where do they go? Now, the family that this movie was based on, the Lutzes, who are actually called the Lutzes in Amityville Horror, wanted the sequel to be about the aftermath of what happened to them.
And we're familiar with aftermath sequels.
We are, yes. And this is 1982, so that is the bread and butter of sequels, is just you do whatever the aftermath is of the original. But also, there was a second book which everyone assumed that the sequel was going to adapt. In comes Dino De Laurentiis. Like a superhero nobody asked for.
Unbuttoning his shirt and opening up.
Yeah, revealing nothing but a hairy chest.
Yeah.
And he decides he wants to base this on an entirely different book called Murder in Amityville by the parapsychologist Hans Holzer, which is about the DeFeos, who are the family that were killed prior to the events of the Amityville horror. So that's what they're adapting the book that is about the prior occupants of the house, not continuing the story of the Lutzes. Of course, as you might imagine, the Lutzes were not too happy about this. They managed to get disclaimers put on all the posters for Amityville 2: The Possession, saying this story has nothing to do with the Lutzes. And part of the problem here is about transitioning from nonfiction to fiction. Okay, so the Amityville horror was a fictionalized account of what happened to the Lutzes, but they were still called the Lutzes. Here, the DeFeos are not called the DeFeos; they are called the Montellis. So they are a fictionalized version of what happened. And you'd be like, okay, not too big a problem yet.
To protect the name of the innocents before
of the guilty.
Yeah, okay.
But the problem is Amityville 3D comes out after this.
Yeah, right.
And it is a movie about a parapsychologist. This is all takes place after the Lutzes, and it's about a parapsychologist trying to prove the Lutzes are a hoax, based on a real story. But in that movie, they talk about the DeFeos, not the Montellis. So already we have about 3-4 different interwoven timelines.
Right.
Multiverses. 3 movies in, and we've got about 10 multiverses for Amityville.
Sit down, Marvel.
Yeah, exactly.
They're doing this from 1979 to what, 1980? When did 3D come out? 4 or 5?
Something like that, yeah. We'll talk about it when we inevitably do it. Yes. On the watch along and not as part of the podcast, because I will resign before that happens.
A coward.
You haven't seen what I've seen, Mike.
Okay, fine.
And the final criteria for our watch-alongs is that these are movies that have traditionally been difficult to watch, that people had issues with. It doesn't mean they're good or bad. It just means that they're problematic, shall we say.
And you need some hand-holding.
And
that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
That's our good work.
And this is literally true in the case of this film, because they did test screenings of this film where the audience were so appalled by what they saw, certain scenes had to be cut out for the final version of the movie. And this included a scene of marital rape and incestuous sex. Those were the 2 big sequences that were cut out of the movie. And when I say cut out of the movie, it's not that they're not in the movie. It's just that we're seeing the
less of it.
We're seeing the if you will, PG version of what was actually filmed.
It sounds like we're seeing the R version.
We're seeing the R version of
as opposed to the NC-17 or X
or just straight up pornography.
Or just pornography. Yeah, exactly. Snuff.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So that's a fact. That's obviously a factor. But just with just in regards to the reception of the movie, 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was among Siskel and Ebert's list of the worst films of the year. Although Roger Ebert is such a horror-phobe that he actually made a point of saying he preferred this to the original Amityville horror. Just a
little extra shiv in the
belly. Exactly. Yeah.
Of classic horror.
But I suppose, this is the first time on the watch-alongs that I actually feel like I need someone to hold my hand, because I watched this alone a couple of days ago.
Tom.
I feel, listen, this is the best analogy I can think of.
This is how I earn my merit badges.
You're really gonna earn it today. This is the best analogy I can come up with what the experience was like of watching this on my own. I feel like I've witnessed an auto accident solo, and not even the victims of the crash registered that it happened. And it's just me going like that. Like, I cannot believe what I am seeing.
That
Everyone
me,
on screen is brushing it off like it's normal.
Like it's perfectly normal. You texted me saying your mouth is agape every 4 minutes to 5 minutes in this movie.
And I'll tell you the exact point.
With shock and awe.
And what's great about these watch-alongs, I can tell you the exact point at which I sent that text. Actually, let's see if you can guess, okay? I reckon you're going to have about 5 or 6 guesses before you get there.
Wow.
So that's what we've got there. That's what we do for the watch-alongs. That's why this movie fits into that those paradigms. However, there was an entirely unexpected benefit of picking this film that I didn't realize when I picked it. This is the Everything Sequel Greatest Hits album. We've got,
you mean in terms of like imbasses or
no, in terms, mainly the cast and crew. Burt Young from the Rocky series. The script is written by none other than
saw that it was
Tommy Lee Wallace.
Yeah, I saw that.
Director of Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Diane Franklin from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Fantastic.
She's one of the princesses. Lalo Schifrin.
Princesses? What?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. In Bill and Ted's, I thought you were saying that they were a princess in this movie as well.
No,
sorry.
This movie
this movie has a princess,
right? That's one thing in favor of this movie. It does not have a princess.
All right, go ahead.
Lalo Schifrin from the Dirty Harry series.
Wow.
1982.
Yeah,
which we've done all the single sequels for, plus an entire spin-off. So you and Matt Aldrich have done an entire spin-off podcast for. We've also done the Poltergeist series, and there's a lot of connective tissue between that movie and this one. So yeah, I mean this could not be a more perfect reflection of what we've done over the past 2 years.
That's amazing.
And yet the movie that this reminds me of, given all that, mostly
Dirty Dancing Havana Nights.
Cruel Jaws.
Okay.
Cruel Jaws and Piranha 2, I think, are the movies that this most reminds me of. And the connection is a national one because it's an Italian director again.
There you go.
And they love their schlock and they love their bad blocking. And this movie has that in spades.
That's plenty of both.
Yes. So yeah, that's where we are. That's what we've got.
Do you have a dismembered hand with a cigar?
Yes.
With you?
You'll also see why that's relevant.
Somebody pull a Bill Clinton?
No, not quite. Somehow you're imagining an even worse movie than the one you're about to see, and I don't know how you're doing it. So I mean, it's an interesting, as we've started to talk about, Amityville is a unique series in that the movies don't seem to have any connection to each other, and yet at this stage of the series it did seem like the sequel format was kind of built in to the story, and I'm sure it was part of the reason why they chose to adapt this novel, knowing that there was this prior this prior episode of terror to the Amityville that they could one day make a movie about. But it's it feels like it's like an anthology movie, right? It's because really the only connection is the house,
right?
Also that these are not the real people in the way that the original movie is the real people is kind of strange. And I think, like in these first 3 movies, it's not just a matter of that one doesn't follow on from the other and have the same characters. It's also that each movie seems to contradict the other's account of what happened.
Of what happened and why it happened.
Of what happened and why it happened and who it happened to. So that's what we're dealing with here in Amityville 2: The Possession.
I am at the very least curious.
Yeah. You should be.
I mean, let me just state up front. I can't state more equivocally how strange it was just this morning to type into Google Amityville movies in order and realize
that was a rookie move.
Oh my goodness. And realize that the only Amityville movie I'd seen was the original.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a series that just sort of like started with a famously huge kind of hit of a horror movie from the late 70s and then immediately fell into obscurity.
Yeah. It's kind of yes, it's interesting. It's much looser as a series than any other series that we've encountered.
Mm-hmm.
Almost to the point where Amityville is a kind of a genre, maybe, than more than it is a franchise,
right?
Because it's basically, I mean, and you know, just to sort of complicate that fact even more, we're talking about something that really happened. I mean, whether it really happened or not, but something that was
right. But
you know, an event that was reported in the real world
mm-hmm.
probably didn't happen.
And we're saying that at least the first 3 movies are all based on something that actually happened, including this one.
Yes.
But this is a prequel.
But it can't even keep that consistent.
Oh my goodness.
So this is as I understand it, this is a much more fictionalized account of
than the first movie.
The DeFeos, to the point where you're not even using their real names.
Yeah, right.
Than the Amityville Horror is.
We're making most of this up. We better change their names.
I think there's a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. But does it still say based on a true story?
I did not see that anywhere. No.
All right.
Well, and also, well, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting in that regard as well. I don't want to spoil too much for you, but the majority of this movie is not even about the fictionalized version of the DeFeos. It's about something entirely different.
Okay. Wow.
and that's, I think, in addition to some of you know, the abhorrent content that you'll see mm-hmm. in the next couple of hours, the fact that the story of this movie takes the turns that it does just adds to the, you know, the mouth agape quality of this film
experience.
Like there really is a sense of, you know, 3/4 of the way through, you say to say that this movie is not what I signed up for is an understatement.
Oh, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we should get ready,
we have to.
You know?
Yeah, let's get straight in. There's going to be so much to talk about, minute to minute.
All right. Well, I am on play, sir. How are you?
Yes, I'm ready to go whenever you are.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on HBO Max, we are watching Amityville 2: The Possession. I'm going to count us down, Tom.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. Good old Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Of course it's for sale.
Yeah, but that makes it seem like we're picking up from the end of Amityville Horror.
It does, yeah.
And we're not. Nobody's
this is when you probably first thought, uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
You saw Dino's name.
Nobody's moved into this house yet. Also, I gotta say that they're writing instantaneous genre tropes. Foggy house with with children's choir in the background.
Mm-hmm. We're feeling very Omen.
Yeah, exactly. It's that sort of A movie treatment of B movie imagery, isn't it? Like when you hear the choir, you're like, they're trying to class up what is standard horror genre fare.
Yeah. I'll say this for it though: spooky trees.
Yeah. And Moses Gunn as Turner. Is there a better billing for a character actor to be at the end with your character named? I think not. That would work much better if he was in any way in this movie.
All right, then.
Glorified
First
extra.
of all, I just want to say right at the front that I'm offended that this movie is an hour and 44 minutes long.
You'll be even more offended when you realize it could have been about an hour and 20.
That's what I mean.
With no loss to the audience. Damiano Damiani, which is Italian for it's a nicer day to make a pizza.
Man.
Here they are.
It's like naming your kid Smith Smithy.
I know obviously like it's gone from for sale to sold, but it kind of looks like the sun just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, right. There's no fog.
Let's immediately put our lives in danger by going to the river. There he goes. Everyone's favorite dysfunctional family man, but
he's already hired a gardener.
Yep, he's the kind of guy who makes his kids salute him.
Salute him. Oh, he also segregates his own family. Yes. Oh, no, wait, there was a boy and a girl. Never mind.
No. I mean, there's you know your screenplay's in trouble when you get unprompted singing in the first couple of minutes of the movie.
Yeah, right.
So my first impression is that I don't believe these people are related to each other.
I was just going to say that this family does not seem to be a family.
And also, if you told me that this was like Third Rock from the Sun and these were all aliens, I go, yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Son, I think you should leave the family.
Yeah.
Cigarettes.
Yeah, you ought to smoke giant cigars.
Like your dad.
Yeah. Systematically making an enemy of all of his children, no matter how old or young.
Every child he is a father to. Well, just try the next one.
I'm sure this will come back later.
I was gonna say there's no way that this is going to screw me later. Yeah, they don't want the entity to get out.
Nice bit of lens flare there. Yeah. Damiani is clearly the missing link between Steven Spielberg and J.J. Abrams.
Yes. And of course, the house has eyes.
Yes. Oh, house has got a whole Steadicam to itself. Mm. This is Tommy Lee Wallace writing it, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, Dusty.
These people are completely unhinged. You know when you turn on the faucet and you got to leave it for like a minute, just so the blood runs out.
Through.
Yep. Interesting that she's not mentioning this to anyone.
So far, this is a family I'm willing to let die.
You don't know what you just said. This family doesn't need a ghost to bring them to the brink of homicidal ruin. They're on the ledge already.
They're already there.
Every time I see those bay windows, I think that like a children's television educational program's about to start. Let's look through the bay window.
I'm deeply uncomfortable already.
I shouldn't have mentioned incest to you.
Yeah, these two. Oh, God. Ah.
Don't talk about your boobs with your brother.
Don't talk about your boobs while your boobs are clinging to the side of his body.
The incest is strong with these two.
This is the house of yes.
This is another moment where if you didn't know you were in a 1982 movie, you could guess.
You would know you were in a 1982 movie.
Plus, it's, this movie has its own extra sort of coat of perversity, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you go this hard into incest, even in a story about incest.
Good God.
Yeah. Get that child's coffin worth of guns into the closet.
Guns somewhere safe.
Do you know who this guy is?
I didn't see a face.
You can guess probably. He's related to a famous actor.
Stephen First.
Danny Aiello III.
Oh. You got to admit, First was a good guess, though.
Yeah.
He looks very First-like.
I would have also accepted Chris Farley.
Sure.
Yeah, this crawl space leads into the seventh circle of hell. You see what you got here.
This up.
You see what you got here is hell down there.
A lot of dead bodies.
So it's so B movie the way that the actors are sort of reacting yet not reacting to each other.
Yeah.
Like everything significant's happening off screen.
When shit starts falling on me, I walk back into the shitty room.
We're clearly in the same shot. There was a lot more happening to him in there.
Yeah.
Than a few stains. He was being eaten by a giant spider and he comes out, he's like, yeah, looks like you got some mud in there.
You got a few problems there. You might want to get them checked out. I'll take my leave of you now. Anyway, that's where your guns are.
Also, yet another spooky incident she didn't mention. It also, like, the way it's supposed to be like a crawl space, but it just looks like the ghost's garage.
Yeah, right.
The way the door flips up. Wow, that's the third spooky incident within the last 2 minutes.
To not be spooky.
Maybe it's time to mention at least one of them. to the other members of my family.
Right.
It's not really established in this movie that this character has prior mental problems, but the actor's certainly playing it as if she has. Either that or she's doing a terrible job.
You know, when this sort of thing happens, you leave the room immediately. You don't slow turn the room.
Oh, you got to slow turn the room.
Yes, as a matter of fact, 3 things, now 4 things, including you, have scared me. Let me tell you about them.
Let me tell you about the most explainable one.
Yeah. You're right. She is saying it like she's a mental patient.
Yeah. Oh yeah, probably. Oh, and by the way, blood came out of the faucet and the crawl space goes to hell.
An incest kiss will do you good.
I'm starting to feel sorry for the ghost having to live in the house with all these people.
Yeah, right.
You know, that family ritual of moving into a new house, putting up a mirror, and then looking at the entire family inside it.
This
we need a few more Italian American cliches before we start dinner.
Kids, this roast was cooked in sink blood.
There's no journey to bloodshed for this family.
Wow.
The daughter has to restrain her father from instantly
murdering
her brother,
his eldest son,
for hanging the mirror wrong.
Now, I seem to remember Burt Young being up hanging that mirror just like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Why is he mad at the boy? Asshole. That frightened look was not about supernatural elements. It was about, my dad better not see that crack in the mirror. He's gonna put a screwdriver through my eye.
And I may or may not have sex with both my mother and my sister.
Fuck.
So
we got like a true ghost cam going here.
Yeah, we've got a creature cam, you know, like this is why I wonder if, because Tommy Lee Wallace was, you know, Carpenter's protege. I wonder whether he wrote the creature cam stuff into the script.
Yeah, right.
Either way, I think Damiani has sort of messed up the fluidity of this by having the ghost open doors.
Yeah.
It's like let's just ignore the thresholds.
The door could already be open.
Yeah. Or let's just assume he's a ghost. He can go through it like Slimer.
That ghost sees Jesus Christ and moans. Like he's hungry.
2 things I don't like: tablecloths and Christianity.
I gotta say, though, that was a pretty good little effect there.
Yeah, there are some technical high points in this movie.
Yeah.
Even Roger Ebert admitted that.
The ghost wants to hurry up and see him while he shaves.
Yeah. I'll tell you something I do like, though. Teenage boy midriffs.
I always shave late at night as well.
In a tiny mirror.
Oh, Walkman.
Like everyone in this family, the ghost is also a pervert. Like the director, the ghost likes to use mirrors to look at the cast.
I'll say.
The director and the ghost seem to be on the same page stylistically. Oh. Burt Young is more easygoing about knock a door runaway than he is
right?
by any slight mistake made by any member of his family.
Wow.
No prizes for guessing where he's going.
I was just gonna say.
Yay! He goes from 0 to gun about as quick as you think he would. And I got a child's coffin full of them.
I like that his wife kind of grabbed at her shirt like, oh my God, he's gonna kill another person.
She's just like, Mondays, am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still it's still less strange than the blood from the faucet, but
right.
I've decided to report this instead.
She made it seem as though in her head she must have been paint. I'm just acting crazy. Paint.
Speaking of paint.
Nope. Uh-oh.
We got some floating paintbrushes.
Wow. All right.
Stop motion wall painting.
Stop motion. Oh.
Now this is oddly quaint, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's like, again, like children's horror. Feels like something that could happen in E.T.
Uh-oh. This.
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah.
Would it really be any surprise if Burt Young
he's gotta threaten him with that gun.
Just like shot his 2 youngest children dead right now, given what we've already seen? Wait a minute, your window's open.
Yeah. That one wasn't nailed shut. What is that prance?
I don't know. Prancing around his house with a gun in deep focus. It's an unintentionally comic moment, I think. If anything, I think this ghost is working too hard to try and incite violence with the family.
Right.
Just like, ghost tap Burt Young on the shoulder and he'll blow away everyone in sight.
Hey. The house is thinking to itself, oh my goodness, this is going to be easy.
Yes.
Oh.
It's like a nature nurture question, isn't it? So that the family is like, at any given moment, they're seconds away from murdering each other. The house is almost an irrelevance.
Yeah.
It's like they'd be doing this if they were in a trailer or
mm-hmm. They don't need a murder house for this.
No. Whatever house they live in is a murder house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's just put the gun back in the
Let's all
child's
go back
coffin.
upstairs and start having sex with each other again.
I love how she says, "My God, what's happening to us?"
Right.
Like, we're spinning this as some kind of possession, but it's played and written as if this has happened 100 times before in exactly the same way.
Absolutely.
She knew exactly when to come in and take that gun away.
My God, what's happening? As though this is the first time it happened.
It feels like some conservative campaign group got in, donated some money to this. It's like, can we have the evil come through the Walkman?
I'd like to remind everyone that's night one. This movie is got its heavy foot on the gas pedal of
here's the star of the movie, apparently. James Alston gets top billing 20 minutes in, first
20
time
minutes into the
him.
movie.
You wouldn't know, would you? I had to look up. I was like, so which one is James Olsen? I'm like, oh, it's this guy. None of that is true. Yeah. He looks so thoroughly uninterested in both the mass and the new churchgoers he's meeting.
Aren't you going to get your gun first?
Well, yeah, he answered the fucking door.
Yeah,
what do you
he's right in fucking front of me.
You think he just stood there silently? I mean, he kind of did, but
he did, though, actually.
It's like it's like a scene from The Exorcist reshot as if it's a segment from a daytime telenovela. Now, I'm also unconvinced about the status of Burt Young's limp. Like, he seems perfectly mobile, yet he's carrying around a cane like James Caan in The Godfather, just as like a prop.
Yeah. That ought to do it.
So I'm keeping a tally of all the Italian-American cliches. I got domestic abuse, guns, multiple children, religious fanaticism.
Kissing of the hands there kind of falls into that category, maybe.
It's like Tony's family from Saturday Night Fever transposed to Amityville. Which I don't think that was what the DeFeos were like in real life.
Do you smoke, priest?
Yeah, he refers to him as priest throughout this scene. See if priest wants a drink or something. Now pay attention to this cigar. It's basically the through line of the scene.
Good God.
Plastic bag on that. Casual murderous violence from the children brushed off as nothing.
Just as good old-fashioned horseplay.
It never comes up again that they did this to each other.
He almost killed my husband last night.
That was it. That was when I sent you the text. You may remember this from the movie Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Which came out about a month ago. You have plenty of perfectly good guns downstairs.
So at this point, the boy is possessed.
No, we see him get full possessed. He's just possession
half
curious.
Possessed?
He's just possessing curious at this point.
You should absolutely leave him and take the children. Except maybe this one.
It's like a sitcom where the patriarch is Edward G. Robinson.
Yeah, right.
It's the Key Largo meets Father Knows Best Halloween special. This is the part where I start to get suspicious about whether this guy is any good as a priest. It's like funny. I didn't feel anything satanic in there.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing satanic within the radius of the house. Oh wait, my Bible's all torn up.
What animal wouldn't like my prayer book?
Yep, definitely possums. He's still got that unlit cigar in his mouth. He's milking this cigar beyond what I thought was capable of an actor for a prop. He's had it in his mouth for conservatively 5 minutes, and he's just thinking about lighting it and didn't.
That worked on him? That doesn't seem like the thing that would work on him.
We're off to night church, kids. Look at this lazy German expressionist corridor here.
Yeah,
it's just some line shadows. There's not a change of perspective or lighting. Damiano's like, yeah, good enough.
It's no cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
It really isn't. It's the cubbyhole of Dr. Caligari.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's leave the guy who really needs church in the house.
Yeah.
Where he can be alone with his murderous thoughts. It's really interesting. Like, you'd think there'd be some sort of backstory with that bay window at some point, but there isn't.
No, never.
They're just like, it ends up meaning ghost in the movie, but only by association. There's no reason why those two windows are any more or less spooky than the rest of the house. Listen, I don't want
Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murphy Delirious was thinking of this movie when he said, and he just got sink mixed up with toilet. Doesn't he say in Delirious, white people see the blood in the toilet and say, well, that's peculiar.
It's interesting. We have one of those moments later where I think people think something that happened in here happened in Poltergeist. I don't mean to tell Lalo Schifrin his job, but instead of being a suspenseful horror soundtrack, it sounds like we're about to go into Flight of the Valkyries at any given moment. Did this family come straight from the frontier? How many guns does
what is going on
family
here?
need? Shane didn't have this many guns.
Isn't this house on Long Island? You can see here, I have all my frontier justice guns.
Alvin and the Chipmunks live in here.
Alvin!
It's a really good one.
No, he's gonna get flies and shit on him.
He's gonna get mildly inconvenienced by some cobwebs.
Yeah. I got a gun out here.
Plenty more where that came from. Also not in the closet where we said we'd put them.
Right.
So funny that Daddy Aiello III didn't mention how extensive this scroll
cavernous this thing is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, it kind of goes on.
It goes on for miles. Shoot the hand. Shoot the hand.
There you go. There's a wall hand. Again, it feels more like Labyrinth than an adult horror movie.
I like that he seems to now think, well, that's a relief. Everything's fine.
Yeah. nothing worrisome over there.
Nothing terrible going on down here.
Like Homer and the kids fighting in the treehouse. They're fine.
Yeah.
Nothing the actor is doing is telling us what's behind the camera.
Yeah.
Like who's looking at him. And I bet that's because he and the director had no idea. It was never established.
Oh, for a second I thought Jesus was gone, but his head was just in the way.
So true. So true. Jesus's head is always in the way. Oh. Here we go. Creature cam turning into Hitchcock overhead shots. And we're not done yet.
It's going to go upside down.
Yeah, we're going into the De Palma 360.
There you go. I like that in and out push.
It's both unoriginal and indecisive. I've seen three horror movies in my lifetime.
Anything?
I've seen 3 horror movies in my lifetime.
Now, what's that meant to do for us?
That's what I mean. Like,
come on.
I guarantee you that, like, that actor was asking, "What is chasing me?" And the director just,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's like, he gave him, you know, he did the For Your Consideration Christopher Guest. Just like said, right. Let's play some improv games.
I like that in world, this thing seems to be right on top of him and leave him.
Yeah.
And he keeps not using his gun.
Yeah, they've not even established how big this invisible monster is.
That ought to do it.
Bearing in mind it's invisible, it'd be pretty easy to decide. I'm going to stand by this bay window where apparently all your power comes from. Uh-oh.
Oh, oops.
A little bit of Superman 2 there.
Yeah.
With the floating shotgun. I know this is not what they're trying to suggest, but it almost seems like there are several spirits in the house.
Yeah.
Each coming from a different part of the house.
Yeah.
Good prosthetic abs.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that we're making this film in this era of effects. Do you imagine if it was the early 2000s, how much bad CGI there would be in this movie?
Yeah.
This is such a, like, it's such a...
What's happening? Is the ghost just sitting on him?
Though that's it. I mean, obviously they're trying to physicalize possession, but they physicalized it as fucking.
Yeah, right. And you can't tell if
the undercurrent of fucking is everywhere in this movie.
Yeah. And you can't tell if he's just sitting on him or emaciating him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that prosthetic ab thing doesn't even make any sense. It looks great, but
yeah,
they didn't even the one part of the movie that works, they didn't even need to have.
Yeah, right.
Now he's turning into the Hulk. It's like a cross between the Elephant Man and the Hulk.
That's the correct reaction.
This ghost loves to open and close doors.
Hey, where's the blood?
Where's the blood? There's a real, like, playful, childlike quality to all the ghosts.
I was just gonna say, it's starting to feel like a merry-go-round. Whoa. Also, the entire family's gone except this boy, so...
There's at least one explosion in this film which was unintended. I don't know if it's that one or there's one later as well. But it wasn't an effect. It just, what they were doing went wrong and it went on fire. But they filmed it anyway and put it in the film.
Of course they did. That sounds exactly right. So wait, there's no...
They came back from night church.
Yeah, and there's
I guess
no scene in which they look at the bed that's been turned upside down or holes in the ceilings from the guns that just fired.
Yep. And now I look like a ballet dancer.
Yeah.
You look like Rudolph Nureyev. He actually looks better than he has.
He does, yeah. It's like you've been raped by a ghost.
But we couldn't afford to show any of that, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you about it.
I'll say. Jesus, what? Christ. This is a topic of conversation.
Just rattling off this story about a father raping a mother as if it was like a pesky anecdote.
Yes.
Like 1982 rules. That said,
speaking of forced sex,
that's in lieu of the actual scene of that happening, which in the original pre-cut version we saw. So we have to be grateful for small mercies that they're only talking about it. Because in the original version, you saw it. That old game.
Yeah.
Fell for that one too many times. For this scene to work, it should come as a surprise, right?
Yeah, right.
Like the turn to incest should be like, oh my god, he's now possessed. He doesn't know that's his sister. But their relationship was already headed there.
Even unpossessed, he still seemed to clearly intimate that this was a possibility.
And the most troubling aspect of it all is she's putting up no resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't count if I do it for a second. And
Good
now
God.
they've sort of and now the incest is on her. Because it's 1982 and we don't know how to handle this stuff.
Fucking fuck. There's not even can't anybody say this is wrong and weird? Get out.
They did. Test audiences did. Because it was like,
yes, you're right. And so this is what they came up with instead, right? Or this is what they cut it down to.
Yeah. So there were like, I guess, minutes more of this sex scene. This is the censored version of this scene.
Oh man. Ugh. Father, my son's trying to have sex with my daughter.
Hard cut to the confession.
Oh no, that is the daughter.
Yeah. This priest is really earning his top billing.
Yeah.
Being an adjunct to an incest storyline. Yeah. And he's giving entirely the wrong advice. Really, this is all your fault.
Yeah.
I'm a priest from 1982.
Forgive me, some of my prayer book's been torn up. I might be giving bad advice.
She's just like, you must resist, as opposed to, well, you've been raped and you should report it to the police.
Yes.
If I was like evaluating this priest, if I was like from the parish, it's like, I'd be like, it's a low score for this guy so far.
We're gonna have to send you somewhere else.
What's the first rule of confession? Father, what's the first rule of confession? Don't look at the people confessing. Right. What did you do? He's getting all his ghost information from the Walkman. Oh, and can you? The ghost is like, can you get some milk from the grocery store? You've run out of milk.
We're kind of hungry down here.
Just put the sandwich in the wall, hand. We'll do the rest.
Saltines, please.
The priest has come over. Apparently, I'm the star of this movie, so I thought I better come over.
So I better come over and get myself some screen time.
I'm also getting the sense, given we haven't seen him for about 10 minutes, this is when Burt Young went off to film Rocky 3.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah.
Which, of course, comes out in the same year.
Yeah.
Also, but I guess his marital rape scene was cut out, so I don't know why I'm saying marital rape, as if that makes a difference.
Yeah, right.
It was also anal rape as well, just to
God damn it.
just
Jesus fuck.
Just reporting the facts here, guys. Just
the
reporting
more
the facts.
information I get,
The
don't worse it gets.
Don't shoot the don't
Don't shoot the messenger.
What's the supernatural equivalent of that? Don't shoot the psychic.
That was weird.
It's like something from a supernatural sitcom, not a grown-up horror film.
Yeah.
Teenage ghost slams door.
Well, he model poses.
How did you do that? That was great. Can you show me how to do that trick?
Can you do the one with the cards?
I thought he was because I assume this guy can sense when there's black magic in a room.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going, that Shifferov is awfully evil.
Yeah.
But he in fact he doesn't have any of that. Would you like some ice cream? I've got the scoop.
How'd you close that door?
Nice territory? Is that what he said?
What?
What did he? I mean, that's what I thought he said the first time, but I was like, when I watch this a second time, it'll all make sense. And I heard the same non sequitur. It's just.
Did he say anything about you're on my territory? You're in my territory?
This is such a low rent version of The Exorcist. I'm only screaming because it's not coming out of the faucet like it normally does.
Yeah, right. Is he throwing up or spitting up his teeth?
Don't drink the water. That also has blood in it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I haven't mentioned to anyone when I first walked into the house, blood was coming out of the faucet. Now would be a good time to mention it.
Just hijinks.
Yeah.
What's that actor's name? What else is he in? I know him. I just can't think of anything.
His name is Leonardo Cimino. And okay, you go on IMDb. This is the description of this guy. Veteran little old man Italian character actor. This is in his official bio.
God damn it.
Veteran little old man Italian character actor. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
We will take our time. I'm
Q&A?
sure they have plenty of it.
That seems like a movie you would know. Q&A.
Oh, yeah.
Guess the movie is the priest's story now.
We're moving on, people.
Yeah. I got to do something while Burt Young is away filming Rocky 3. I might even end up with top billing. What about the incest?
God, fuck.
Your behavior?
What?
Woman was raped. But next time, please don't look at me from behind the curtain, because I don't think that's how confession works. I also don't think you're allowed to talk about what people confess outside of the confession booth. Are you really a priest? Which I type out.
But not too sorry.
After all, I am the star of this film. Now we have sexual tension.
It's getting worse and worse in this movie.
Oh, you think I'm joking?
What?
First of all, who are you?
Yeah.
I'll be here. No one said who I am yet, but I'll be here.
Who I am.
He seems more like a police detective than a priest, right? At this point, he even has like a sort of priest partner.
Burt Young's back from Rocky 3.
Not in the same shot as everyone else, though.
Yeah, right. And then we'll have sex.
It better not be one of those relighting candles or I'm going to murder you all. Oh, well.
You know what else is magic? When I break all your necks.
Like the evil guy who talks to me through the Walkman. I won't get too close to him if I were you.
Yeah.
I know how he feels about his relatives.
Oh, good move.
Yeah, a little too much. Unfortunately, because it's 1982, she reciprocates the feeling.
Yeah. There he is.
There he is. Listen, I gotta go.
What?
It's a family, like the absence of outright violence is worthy of applause.
It's worthy of a standing ovation.
For once, the ghost is not gaslighting you. Everything he's saying is entirely accurate. Hey!
More people we don't know?
More people we don't know. Hey, who are all these party guests? How did the family meet all these people in such a short time? Wait a minute, how long has this movie lasted so far? Hi, here's some more questions that we'll never answer.
Hmm.
That's too many people. That's too many people.
Oh my God. Wow.
Bearing in mind that Sonny has been here, what, a week?
Yeah. At best.
No evidence of him going to school or anything like that.
Nope.
And basically, all we know about his character is he likes to be alone. Yet he has 50 friends.
Very close friends.
This bay window.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess it's just because that's a good place to look at people from. God, that's the only reason that bay window is important. Is that a line of dialogue or minutes from the production meeting? Just slipped into the script. Got a lot of modern technology.
Mom has a sneaking suspicion that daughter's gonna go have sex with brother or son, rather.
We got TVs in bedrooms, camcorders, Walkmans.
All underneath Jim Morrison's watchful eye. I'm feeling bulgy at the moment. Ooh, Hulk out.
Did she just say, "Do you feel guilty?" I'm not.
I don't know.
I think she did. And I think it was ADR. And once again, it gets him off the hook. So that photo of Jim Morrison is so prominent for no reason at all. Didn't that also happen in? Oh no, it was Trolls 2 that happened in.
What, Jim Morrison?
No, it was like when when he was working out in his home gym, and there was like posters of much more famous movies around, and we saw all of them.
Yeah.
Hello, Ghostbusters. We're ready to believe you. How long does it take to give the last rites? Still haven't established who this guy is. So suddenly, the priest has second sight. He knows exactly who's calling, and yet it completely failed him when he was blessing the house. See, this mother slut shaming a daughter thing.
Yeah.
To me, so here's the thing. Like, I actually think that in many households, that is exactly how it would go down because of mothers and sons and like denial. But I don't know if the movie knows that it's wrong.
Right.
Like, I think the movie thinks she's got a point.
Yeah.
Like, no, she doesn't. It's not on the daughter. It's not on the younger daughter to fight back against her brother raping her.
It's kind of alarming. The movie doesn't seem to know that.
Very alarming. And also within the context of the movie, it's because the mother is also sexually attracted to the son.
Yeah.
That she's just kind of jealous.
Oh, fuck.
To quote Jeff Garlin in Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's a big bowl of wrong. Hey, look at what this camera can do. It's spin around and around and around. I'm Damiani.
I wonder if Cronenberg watched this before he made The Fly.
Just so he knew what not to do.
Yeah.
Did you see the sexy doll there? She was
No, I missed it.
It was like a sexualized adult child's doll, which made me think, yeah, this was no wonder incest and rape runs riot in this house if that's the
Good
kind of
God.
brain food the children have. That audio is harrowing, by the way. Conversation they're having.
Oh, so he didn't hear that?
As Burt Young alone in a shot again. Was this just like moonlighting for him? Is this what he did at night after he was filming Rocky 3?
So I'm not helping Mom. I'm not sticking around for that shit. Oh my God. Child murder. Let's make sure to get a leg twitch.
40 minutes left in the movie, by the way.
So, okay.
What's this end of the second and all of the third act gonna be about?
I don't know.
I didn't know either.
So yeah, I was just about to ask you, why are we seeing this now? Because shouldn't this be at the end of Act 3?
Well, okay, so speculate. What do you think the rest of the movie is gonna be about?
So it's got to be the priest, no?
Pretty much.
It's a strong window.
If only we hadn't established that these were nailed down. I know he's running around the house killing everyone, but I'm surprised no one has mentioned his zombie face.
Right. I would stay there, Mark.
Now I can't call that number that's off the hook. Not only are we killing the family that this movie is ostensibly about 3/4 of the way through the film, we're also doing it in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
There's no build up to it. It just happens.
Yeah, go towards the sound.
Jeez.
Go towards the murder. What's wrong with your face?
Why do you look so much like Matt Smith? Yeah, let's make that shotgun look like his penis for a second. That's a great choice there.
That's
Oh, I'm on a camping trip with a man I barely know.
Thank God they added that dialogue. I never would have figured it out. Frank, wake up. You're having a dream.
What is going on? Like, at this point, I'm like, what is going on with this camping arrangement? Are they just straight up gay couple?
So I think so. But I've also prayed to not be in love with a man. Look how that turned out.
Here he is. I've seen The Shining. I know how this works. Best line in the movie coming up.
Oh, yeah? And he's with him.
That's right. We still don't know who this guy is. This would have been a perfect opportunity to tell us who he is, right?
Aim there, priest.
I love how they're using the creature cam,
right,
to follow the priest and his special friend. It's like, by the logic of the movie, the ghost is right behind them now. And I don't think that's what's happening.
I'm a priest. Open up that body bag.
I won't believe it until we see a tasteless shot of a dead kid.
Yeah.
And we already knew she was dead, so we didn't need that shot.
We're going to double down.
Yep, there we go. Although we do, that's the only thing we need to see, because that's her. That's
yeah,
the one we didn't know was dead. That's what Damiani thinks restraint is.
This movie, I wouldn't put past this movie him saying, "No, I don't have to do this one. She's the slut."
Oh God. You take care of this cross.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Is that the police chief from Ghostbusters?
So I was just thinking, is he one of those guys? Yeah, I think
he is.
I think that's Ghostbusters.
I think it's the Ghostbusters guy. I think he's literally the same character. Now, I know Tommy Lee Wallace didn't direct this movie, but somehow Damiani has picked up an infection whereby he can't block a scene to save his life. So that's Turner, named in the titles, played by Moses Gunn. And the way he's introduced, you'd think he was an extra.
Yeah.
A named character in the movie, this guy.
It's also an hour and 10 minutes into the movie. Are we going to see more of him? Because the movie would suggest that that's all we're going to see of him.
Yeah, the movie suggests we see all of him, but we will see more of him, yes. Not enough, but more.
Mm-mm.
Did you see that KFC? They they panned over to the table where there was some KFC. Now, it seems like the priests in this community play multiple roles as lawyers, medics, police officers, everything but an actual priest.
Hard cut.
Here's where we find out who this fucking guy is. He's deputy priest. He's his priest pal.
Wow.
That's but imagine that. Imagine like introducing a character without that information about who they are. His name's Father Tom.
What is happening? Do they suspect him, but he's still allowed to go to the funeral?
Oh, it gets worse.
What is this movie saying?
Basically whatever the Catholic Church says in this town goes.
Clearly.
It doesn't make sense that memories of his family would make Sonny less likely to murder more people.
Yeah.
If anything, that would incite him. Yeah, I remember those shitheads. I'm gonna go and kill the guy outside.
I could tell you that at least 3 of them deserved it. I won't tell you which ones.
I won't.
I know for sure.
I know 2 of them, and there are many contenders for the 3rd. Probably the girl who put a plastic bag over her brother's head.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like The Exorcist, but in a jail cell.
Look at him. He's feeling priest power.
How can we make that famous scene from The Exorcist cheaper? I know you thought I was an extra, but I'm part of this movie.
Wow.
Look at the way they've choreographed the blocking in this fucking scene.
Jesus.
I appreciate keeping the cell as one shot and have the actors move, but let's do it with a little bit of grace, people. Also, maybe try and reduce the amount of fucking creaking? On the sound. I'm gonna go over here now. Wait a minute, you just went over here, I just went over there. Let's do it more slowly so no one notices.
Also, this cop right now should be saying, "Shut up, father." If you what you're doing is giving him a reason in court to not be found guilty.
So obviously, like, the last third of this movie is like a Exorcist on the fly kind of.
So yeah, I was
remake.
gonna ask, we're gonna try and get rid of the demon,
without the agnostic complexity. It's just like bow down to the cross or nothing.
Are we even going to get a voice? Yeah, you won't succeed in church, you motherfucker.
Not unless someone puts the headphones on and listens to the Walkman. we get kind of a moment like that, but done in a very different way later on. But you can tell I was considering it, which is really fucked up because you're a priest and I'm a police officer.
Yeah.
I better get name credit for this. God, don't you hate that indoor wind?
The worst.
There we go. I look like Clint Howard.
Not authorized. Oh, that's some good cold acting right there.
Oh, the fact that's all that's stopping us from having an exorcism is church protocol.
Mm-hmm.
This is sort of like
and police interference.
I don't think the police are interfering enough. Like, where's this guy's lawyer, for instance?
Right. We suspect him of killing his whole family, but we better let him go to the funeral.
If only I got here before everyone was murdered. Now I'll have to wait for the next group of the next occupants.
Nope.
You could do a pretty amazing supercut of doors opening in this film.
Yeah.
Probably be about 44 minutes of the 1 hour and 44 minutes. Pretty sure he drove there himself.
Yeah.
You know he has a car.
Bet you do.
Oh, by the way, no, apparently not going to introduce herself again. God, it was lucky he ran into that records keeper.
Wow.
Who was there for absolutely no reason.
No reason whatsoever. Just out for a stroll in the middle of a winter storm.
There really is no better way to do exposition than a dry factual voiceover from a character who is yet to be introduced over some unreadable text in a book. Talk about literary adaptation. We're literally just watching someone turn the pages of a book.
That's great.
So she said that it was like an ancient burial ground, which is what people think it is in Poltergeist.
In Poltergeist, right.
Is it possible they're confusing these two 1982 Poltergeist-based horror movies?
Sorry, who was that? Was it the sister?
Yeah, it's the sister.
Well, you don't have to be afraid anymore.
Of course you know all this because I went to confession and told you he raped me and you told me it was my fault.
And you said you should resist that urge. Father, It wasn't my urge.
Yeah.
You fucking asshole.
First of all, we're a courtroom drama now. Also, I like this movie's just throwing anything it can at the wall of the third act to try and get to 1 hour 44 minutes. Also, I love how proto Johnny Cochran tried slipping in demonic possession under the judge's nose.
Yeah.
Judge is like, whoa, go back.
Hey, hang on a second there, Sparky. Let's talk about this for a second.
Slow down, Teehee. Now we see this guy in a priest outfit.
His
collar. The first time we've seen him in a priest outfit. That would have been the best possible way to see him for the first time. You wouldn't have even need to say who he was. But no, the first thing he says is, let's go on a camping trip. You and I. With our undefined relationship. And I had a dream, and you were there, and you were there. And you were in a much better movie.
You're fired. Oh yeah, this guy.
This veteran. This
movie keeps forgetting about characters.
This veteran little old man character actor. Yeah. This scene plays out exactly the same as a scene with a police detective and his captain would.
Yeah.
You take the collars off them, this is like Skarsky and Hutch or something. McGonagall, you can't perform an exorcism.
what? You know that guy just slid in from outside.
He just came in for 1 second. He slid into shot just to give one piece of extraneous exposition. Well, that's why the parishioners are so worried about him. And no exorcisms.
Help no one.
Now, why would you bother like having the camera in the car, filming it moving away, and then immediately cut? I mean, you don't have to do Steve McQueen widow, 20 minutes in the car, but a bit longer. What's the point in setting up that shot only to cut away from it?
Let him in. He's his priest.
Yeah.
That gets you into any room.
He's his priest. He's with me. He's my boss for some reason. There's not a real division of church and state in this town.
Yeah.
This is the only part. This is the only part of the shot I'm visible in.
The amount of times people walk into
I tell you,
it's still camera frame.
It's the Italian way.
Yeah.
Right? That's Cruel Jaws is full of that. So is Piranha 2. You saw that disappearing ink on his hand.
So let me get the doctor. You think the doctor is going to be able to help with the
medical problem?
Kind of.
Yep, I have no iron in this fire.
Yep.
Nobody even knows who I am or what I'm like.
You go that way.
This is the point at which I was like, we've come so far from what this film originally was.
Yeah.
And it was barely linked to the original movie anyway.
Right.
Now it's some kind of weird, it's like fucking Angel Heart now or something. Some kind of police procedural
right
exorcism film. that was not what I signed up for when I turned on Amityville 2 The Possession.
You know, in case you have to shoot him.
You're really more of a police detective than a priest. Recently departed Moses Gunn, of course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he died earlier this year. Well, like, he does it. It's a yeoman's effort.
Yeah.
Or a character that
for character given
work.
No dignity.
Yes. Well, he's even got his own one-liner. It's like the full 80s action hero.
Yeah.
Forgive me. Vaya con Dios. Monsignor Martinez there. Is this like an old school sequel, and the first half is a remake of the original, and the second half is it's just its own thing?
Is this its own movie?
Is this Beneath the Planet of the Apes Mark II? Now, what do you think the plan is at this point? Now he's beaten up a police officer to get this guy out of.
He has to take him into the church and perform an exorcism.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I don't know why he expects this to be plain sailing, right?
Oh, yeah, no. Because honestly, for a movie that I wish ended at least 8 minutes ago,
yeah,
right now there should be another hour. Based on the story where it is right now.
Yeah, the movie's really just started.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, is he going to escape?
Like, how did the priest not anticipate that this would happen?
Yeah. You know what's funny about watching this movie is that you are saying all of my inner thoughts that I don't say yet, because for some reason I am strangely compelled to just, like you said, mouth agape watching.
Yeah. Oh, it's an experience. This is what I mean. You can't believe it happened, and no one will verify that it did for you.
Yeah.
I love the fact that because it's the early 80s, you know, they just put a sheet of fire in front of that guy.
Oh, yeah.
There's no, like, there's... Good job Father Tom was there to overhear this phone call. Saved us a few minutes of dry exposition.
Another good thing, that nurse never said, yes, can I help you?
Yeah. What is your name? Name and rank, please. Suddenly the door doesn't open.
You stole my thought again.
Sorry.
For once.
At least that wasn't a prepared line. I just thought of that now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't this house invite him in? Well, there you go. All right.
Well, there's the house and the seventh circle of hell that it's linked to.
Yeah.
They act as
it's just where the house wants you to enter.
It's like, this is the shortcut, right? Basically, the house is this place. Everything else is just set dressing. Wow, there's a lot of guns in this basement. Did an old Western gunslinger live here?
You'd think they would have removed these after the many deaths. Stored them in evidence or something. No, don't go that way.
I'll just head towards the dripping sounds.
The garage door is opening.
Is there anything less ominous than a door that opens upwards like that? Or try and remember the Bible verse, for fuck's sake. Rule 101 of exorcism. Don't stumble over the fucking text. The power of Christ conflates you, compounds you, compels you. That's it.
The power of Christ is strong. That's not it.
5 Hail Marys, 5 Hello Dollies. Don't you hate that indoor rain?
What did the police put a bunch of wood up on the over the windows?
It's like, well, we need to leave them as they were. Now the nails have gone. We got to board it up.
A spider web. A lone single spider web.
Some runner was sent out to spirit Halloween.
Yeah.
10 minutes before they started filming.
You know what would be nice? So now this is
Window
where it
goes
becomes
up, window goes
comical
down.
again.
Window goes up, window goes down. Window goes up, window goes down. It's basically the window in the background is going blah 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 blah. So many self-opening doors in this film. I think the reference point is like The Exorcist. That maybe happens once in that film.
Kind of sort of flies.
Speaking of the flying killers, my God, that's always with the cross. You think that they'd have a plan to like anticipate the cross?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's such a Achilles heel for all these demons. You'd think that they'd be like,
you got to do the
sunglasses or something,
right? Sunglasses.
Just blindfold themselves.
You got to do the Gary Oldman thing where you just light it on fire.
Well, that Dracula could do everything.
Yeah.
He had the most superpowers of any Dracula.
I mean, everything.
He could go out during the day.
Could go out. Yeah, I was just going to say, could go out during the day. Not a problem. I'm going to wear my fancy glasses.
Speaking of other movies, that when he descended from the ceiling, he was like Buzz Lightyear, not flying, but falling with style. Eat this ice cream. Eat it. Everyone in this movie wants to have sex with me.
Did he have sex with her too? Oh, God. It's only because I knew you were damaged.
In the early 80s, your hero could be a wannabe pedophile, a rapist.
Right. That is less effective than The Exorcist.
Right?
Jesus.
I love the fact that even after the character is dead, they're like, no, we want to re-objectify her.
Yeah.
Put her in like slutty makeup and have her do a thing with her tongue.
What?
It's sort of like it's such mild taunting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't make it to the rank of bishop yet. What the fuck? What is that? I found your weakness. You weren't promoted quickly enough. You want to do exorcisms and no one will let you.
Aren't you angry?
Don't you hate that? Who was probably going to murder his family anyway.
Mm-hmm. I know this movie showed us in the first 10 minutes that he was willing to kill members of his family without
I was gonna say the ghost
spirit
makes no
inside of him.
difference. That's what it should be called. Amityville 2, the ghost makes no difference. Here's another. I mean, look, the effects are fantastic.
Yeah, that looks good.
It's an astounding
Ooh.
piece of prosthetic work there. This is their money shot.
Hey, wait, I'm gonna need that face back.
It's this 2-layer monster dip they got going on. Doesn't help that he's gargling like Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That is
again like the Fly,
great.
right?
Wow.
Wasted on this turd of a film, that prosthetic shot. There you go. That explosion, not meant to happen.
Wow.
That was an accident.
What?
They rigged the effects wrong and it blew up. But they decided they were filming it, so they kept it in the movie. Wow, this movie doesn't mess around when it comes to symbolism. Look at that literal resurrection.
Not one little bit.
It's Poltergeist 2, the other side level.
Yeah.
On-screen Catholicism. Goes full Catholic.
You have still murdered your family, though.
Oh, I'm glad Father Tom got there after everything had already happened. Otherwise, absolutely nothing would have changed.
He didn't even. There's no even establishing shot of him. He must have seen the explosion.
I never told you my name, or really who I am. I have trapped ghost wind.
Hey, thanks.
So I'm not going to jail, right? Right?
What you need to do is go to Canada. Get yourself a new name. Oops.
He's like, oh yeah, the police.
Guess that's out.
Oh yeah, that's right. The rule of law. Okay. Yeah, they'll understand.
We'll make them understand.
Yeah. We have a very sympathetic judge.
Yeah.
He was all over the demonic possession stuff. He totally bought it.
No. Seriously, now I don't have a demon.
Yeah. I did have a demon, but it's gone. What is so hard to understand?
Now all the cops leave. Just leave the priest up there in the house.
Mm-hmm.
They all collectively said, I'm not going in that fucking house.
The police are just like, well, he left the house with a priest. That's good enough. I'll put that in the report.
Yes.
There's only one priest that I know of in this film anyway. I wonder if I could sneeze the ghost out. Uh-oh.
That's not good.
Demon bulging.
Let's go ahead and kill yourself with one of the many, many, many guns still left in the house.
You now have the power to make them float as well, so you don't even need to go in the basement.
Yeah, exactly. You can float one up to yourself. Why are you acting surprised?
You said, let it be me.
You said,
this is on you, my friend. This film has a real problem with culpability.
Yeah.
I didn't murder my family, says a man who murders his family. You allowed your brother to rape you. And there we go. Just in time for the original Amityville horror.
The original family that we knew of.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, to quote Frank Pentangeli in The Godfather Part 2, Jesus Christ, Mike. Jesus Christ. Burt Young doesn't even... the cast hasn't come up yet. Dun, 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 dun.
What a weird movie.
Demonology.
Every person involved.
Demonology advisors. You see that? Demonology advisors.
Wow.
Ed and Lorraine Watson.
Oh, Warren, yeah.
Are they related?
No,
are they brother and sister or man and wife?
Man and wife.
Okay.
Because that's what the
don't you think it's a little strange that the demonology advisors have the same last name, given what happens in this movie?
Well, they're real people, though. So
okay, I don't know of them.
They that's what the Conjuring movies.
Oh,
and Annabelle, and that's the married couple from all of those movies.
Happy birthday to you. Remember when we had to give credit to those money grubbing sisters before it was deemed illegal? Yeah, there's nothing about based on a true story here.
Thank the Ocean County people, though.
Burt Young didn't even have a first name. His character was just Mr. Montelli. This was a thankless role for him. Well, there you have it.
Thankless role for everyone.
Pretty much. I mean, Moses Gunn as Turner.
Yeah.
James Olsen doesn't get any screen time till 20 minutes in, and then it's pretty sporadic until the third act.
So everybody reads this script and then says, so the family dies at the end of Act 2, huh?
And what happens after that?
That's
well,
weird.
then we start remaking other horror films.
Yeah.
Namely The Exorcist, with a little bit of The Shining.
With not quite as good.
Yeah.
It'll be a shade, it'll be a hair underneath those movies.
I mean, wow.
Whew.
What are your initial reactions apart from shock and disgust?
I have to say that because I don't know,
which are a given.
I felt as I was watching it that I was largely silent.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true while we were watching it.
I wouldn't have been able to muster speech the first time I saw this film. No,
but I'm kind of in awe of its ineptitude.
There's a remarkable amount of ineptitude. Yeah.
It's sort of delight. I think we've discussed before bad movies that should be watched in film classes,
Yeah.
and this is one of them.
Right.
This is up there for me.
I mean, the level of directorial and screenplay incompetence,
Yeah,
matched with how that, not that the actors themselves are bad, although some of them are below par, some of them are capable of better, but you feel like it rubs off on the actors, like they
yeah.
like you can feel
nobody
you can
comes
feel
out
the
of it smelling
awkwardness,
like a rose.
yeah, you can feel the awkwardness and the confusion
Yeah.
of what it must have been like on set to be filming that script, which is not to say that the actors in themselves are not doing the best job they possibly can.
Mhm.
So all of that is definitely in the so bad.
The director at some point decided to put one of the princesses in the makeup and said, "Now do this." Blah.
Yeah. So
and she did the most she could with it.
Exactly. So all of that is definitely in so bad it's good territory, but I think like bad doesn't cover it. It's so tasteless, it's so sensationalist, like its treatment of sensitive subjects is some of the worst I've ever seen.
I mean, there almost should be an addendum episode, like another one last episode for Project 1982 just based on this movie.
Yeah, that's it. Half of it's King of Comedy, the other half is this.
Oh.
I think I don't know. I don't quite know how you would lure Matt Aldrich back to talk about movies from 1982. I'm suspecting Amityville 2: The Possession is not the way to do it.
Probably not on his list. But I certainly am going to be sending a text today that says, you got to check this out.
Yeah, our list was missing something very significant. It is. I mean, we said it at the beginning that it's like it's a 1982 grab bag.
Mm-hmm.
Really feels like it speaks to all the different films from that year. Some of them literally and referentially.
I'm starting to remember the remake
of Amityville.
Yeah, of the original Amityville, which I remember being a pretty successful horror film.
Well, the original film's is pretty well regarded, right?
I'm trying. It's been so long since I've seen the original because I remember the Ryan Reynolds version, his being very possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same in the original? I don't really remember that.
No, I don't remember that either.
Okay.
So you think they got it from this movie?
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfectly possible. I mean, I think obviously, probably like 3 people have seen some of the later Amityville movies. But at this stage, given the success of the original one, this probably had a pretty decent audience.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the success of the original and seeing where they were going. Probably as well some people who wanted to see it because there was this scandal about the Lutzes disowning it and but it also feels as though that they're drawing, like you said, they're clearly drawing on The Exorcist, they're drawing on The Shining. Yeah. Well, this is why I don't think you can let this. I mean, we're both defenders of Tommy Lee Wallace, but it's hard to defend this screenplay because it makes so many big mistakes on so many levels, and one of them is the structure of this movie is unsound, is unwieldy. It is a house on sticks. Yes. It's a house built on the 7th circle of hell. Maybe it's like content and style matching. It's a movie about a house with strange foundations, and it's a screenplay about a house with strange foundations. But I also see that Dardano Sacchetti is uncredited as a writer on this movie. Right. Well, also, I mean,
I guess what I'm wondering is
also just think about, right? I mean, you know, you and I both work a number of jobs at once, right? Let's just think about it in those terms, right? Both Tommy Lee Wallace and Burt Young are off making other movies in 1982.
Right.
It's you're not gonna get their best work.
Sure. But I mean, you know, not to defend any of this, but obviously, you know, if you start making one movie from, you presume they're making them in 1981. This movie probably, when was this movie released? September, right? We said
September 25th,
the day we're releasing it, of course. Sorry,
that's all right.
But
I'll give you a clue.
I could imagine that, you know, Rocky 3 was maybe filmed during 81. This movie feels like the January of 82, they showed up at that house.
Yeah, they didn't even bother cutting out when the effects went wrong. Although I guess they had it long enough to do test screenings, right?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, they had enough to do they did it far enough in advance to do test screenings whereby they cut out.
Oh, you mentioned, right.
So I don't know. But production values aren't this movie's problem.
Yeah,
weird thing to say, right? Normally when you get a so bad it's good film, it's because the things that do work in this movie aren't working, like effects.
Aren't working, right.
The effects are great.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's the execution of everything that is, and you know, obviously as they like to demonstrate, they've got some pretty sophisticated camera work going on here. They just have literally no idea what to do with it except spin it around like a fucking RoboCop's gun. You know, it's like let's just spin it around. You know, it's spinning. So,
and at some point, somebody said, "I can both open and close this window."
Yeah,
at will.
Exactly, and you know, so it's a weird animal in that sense as well. It's like not what is normally wrong with this kind of movie when it goes wrong.
Yeah, right.
It is literally like, as we said, it's the foundation. Screenplay and direction are fundamentally flawed.
Man, that screenplay is really bad.
It's really interesting to me, like
this idea that you're going to start a whole different movie for the beginning of Act 3 is astonishing. It's crazy. And everybody involved read the script and said, "Yep, let's go with this."
I mean, does it have some overlap with the sort of decision to put robots in the third act of Halloween 3? You know,
that's interesting.
I mean, it's not quite as much of a departure as this.
No,
it feels, but it's interesting. And again, you know, I don't know if Tommy Lee Wallace was, you know, this is a payday for him or what, but he had a novel
to work from, right?
Actually, 3 novels, really. Or three books, 3 non-fiction books, plus an original movie. It's not like there's a lack of source material here. And yet that's exactly what it feels like there is. It feels like, you know, we've only got half a story to tell. And that's the interesting thing. Like, you know
what it's like? It's like they wrote one draft from each of those books and then tore pages out of each and combined them.
Like Al Ruddy did with when he was showing the script of The Godfather to what's his name? All I can think of is Giovanni Ribisi, but it's not him. Joe Colombo. Yeah. Not the detective though. Anyway, so it's fascinating.
I didn't know if you were leaning towards the mob or towards the studio.
Yeah. It's so it doesn't really make sense.
No.
Because at least this is Amityville 2. This is only the second movie in the series, and I guess what when you've talked about sequels for as long as we have, you begin to like get an eye for what is the kind of story that you can tell again or make a sequel from.
Mm-hmm.
And this is good stuff because you can literally go two ways. So stuff happened to the Lutzes after Amityville Horror, which you can cover, and stuff happened before. So the decision, like, interestingly, and I don't say this about many films, the decision to make it a prequel is not a bad idea.
It's right. Yeah, right.
It's actually one of the best ideas that this film has. And Dino De Laurentiis Dino De Laurentiis is a crazy person, but I actually think he made the right call here. Because how interesting would Amityville Horror 2, the Lutzes, like, I presume it would be like, it would be like, here's where we became celebrities. Here's how the media found out about stuff. Like how interesting would that really be?
Right. And essentially you'd be stopping, is the haunting following them or not?
Right. So I actually weirdly think they made the right call making it about the DeFeos. They just needed to make it about the DeFeos, not the Montellis.
Yes.
Again, Tony's family from Saturday Night Fever.
Right.
Who I'm sure the DeFeos were not. I'm sure that they were like any family. They were not just Italian-American stereotypes.
They didn't try to do it about the real family or the imaginary family because this movie is about the priest. Except you don't meet the priest until 20 minutes in, and he doesn't become the focus of the story until the beginning of the third act.
Yeah.
All of which
is
strange and wrong.
And I wonder how intentional that was, or whether as they went on, they rewrote the movie. Because I mean, that's what it feels like. It feels like at some point Burt Young became unavailable, and it's like, okay, well, let's push up when he gets killed and follow the priest through the rest of the film, and the priest and the boy.
That's interesting.
But I don't know. I mean, that's I don't know that for a fact. It seems very strange to me that you would plan it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. As responding to bad circumstances, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense that you would set out and write this movie the way it is.
Right.
So I don't know.
Not even, not everything about that just is strange.
It's like a reverse Psycho, isn't it? It's sort of like you kill off Marion Crane a third of the way into Psycho, you've still got 2/3 of a movie that you can create. But if you do that at the end of the second act of the movie, you've got nowhere to go unless, like you said, you want it to be a 3-4 hour movie. Which
right.
It, as you said, it conceivably could have been, because the story is just the new story is just beginning.
What
what I want, what I'm thinking now, and I don't know how long we'll have to wait to do this, probably a whole nother year. The fuck is Amityville 3D like?
3D about? Yeah, right.
Is there any connective tissue?
I don't know.
To either,
but we can find out because it's on HBO Max right now.
Yeah, you can
imagine. I'm not sure it'll be sticking around for a whole year.
I wouldn't have thought so. No. And also it's 3D, so
that
adds its own, which probably means it's about nothing except things coming close into the camera and coming out again.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I mean that's Amityville 2: The Profession. I thought it was going to be one of the weakest. I thought it was going to be a Treasure Buddies kind of level choice, but it actually turned out to be probably the best watch along movie we've ever done in terms of like fitting the brief that we've established.
It so fits the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact, because I seeing all these other sequels, I thought, well, why are we doing this movie? No.
Yeah, why aren't we doing the equivalent, the Amityville equivalent of Hellraiser Revelation? I'm like, because the rot sets in the very second movie. That's why.
Yeah. So I'm doing some real-time investigating here.
Always a good idea.
Burt Young.
Yeah.
Because Rocky 3 comes out May 28th, 1982.
Uh-huh.
And I am seeing here that Amityville 2, The Possession, started principal photography March 8th.
Oh.
So, you know, Rocky 3 clearly is wrapped up and done by the time Burt Young gets to this movie for photography. So there was no Rocky 3 problems keeping Burt Ward. You know, this was all
Burt Young.
The choice of the movie. What did I? Oh, I said Burt.
Imagine this movie with Burt Ward.
Burt Ward
playing Mr. Montelli.
Yeah,
that's fascinating. I mean, that's fascinating. You keep like, because I guess because of the people involved and because of how profile it is, you keep wanting to give this film some kind of pass,
right?
And every time you look into it, you realize that there's no reason why this movie should be this way. At least no production reason why it should be this way.
It just is.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, it really.
And there are at least a few people involved that should have known better. Tommy Lee Wallace being one of them as the writer. Right?
I don't know. This feels like totally his wheelhouse. I mean, this reminds.
I count Burt Young as one of those too. He should have read the script and said, "What are you doing? No?"
Yeah. Well,
my answer's no.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I think there is definitely with Burt Young. I'd be like, he generally does better movies than this and better work in them.
Mm-hmm.
But Tommy Lee Wallace, I think this is a failure on his behalf, but it's definitely his wheelhouse. Like,
all right,
this is like, there's so many parts of this that remind me of Halloween 3. But the not just because they were made in the same year and have the same
Halloween
level
3
of.
Doesn't feel.
No, hey, you don't have to defend Halloween 3 to me. I'm just saying, and I'm not talking about quality here. But again, it's just like, when you see that police station scene and the actors are walking around going, where do we stand? What do we do? Right. Who are we? Are we the stars or the extras? And it's like there's loads of moments in Halloween 3 like that. Like in the fire at the hospital, where that poor firefighter who can't speak. Who legally can't speak is getting dragged into a conversation with Dr. Daniel Chalice, and he's just there going, yeah. And I don't know, Tommy Lee Wallace doesn't direct it, so it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It sort of feels like,
but he didn't direct this movie.
It's sort of, like whatever.
Did he write it in the script that way?
He just like sprinkled directorial. Fairy dust over Damiani, and and of course, great. You're like, this is pure, like everything that we said about Piranha and Cruel Jaws. This weird trying to get everyone into the same shot, for no reason. And then once they're in the shot,
you have a shot where there are two people, and then all of a sudden a head slides in.
It gives you
that
like
kind of thing.
It gives you so much more respect for the art of film direction.
Oh yeah,
because you realize that if like actors are left to their own devices, they will walk in the most unnatural ways, right? They will just like, they'll cross and counter cross each other about 3 times, and then they'll start doing it really slowly because they think that you won't notice it, when in fact that's all you notice.
In a prison cell.
In a room about this big.
It's just like so small.
Yeah, it's sort of like you should add into the sort of the RADA training, just walking around.
Oh man.
Or whatever, like these acting schools, they shouldn't be teaching methods or like psychological stuff. It should be pure, or combat. It should be purely, okay, let's watch you walk around a room, see what you do.
That's amazing.
Because one day you'll be working with a director who doesn't know how
to direct you,
and you don't want to look like you've never walked.
And you're going to be on your own.
Yeah, you don't want to look like you just woke up from a coma.
We know a little something about that.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I saw him the other day as well. The yeah, it's just so I really don't know what to
I
do
gotta
with
tell
this.
you though,
I keep wanting. I say, well, I'm drawing a line in the sand there. No, we're not doing the series all the way through, but let's go back to these movies at least
absolutely.
on the watch alongs, or maybe even special. I'm happy to do special episodes, but I'm not covering 20 plus titles just because they have the word Amityville in them.
Somehow I'll get one in here or there, one way or another, because I want to revisit. I'm officially interested now.
Yeah, you like to do this to me. It's like we're we're about to embark. We're about to embark on like the second part of our Halloween coverage.
Yes.
And it's like we've had a year of it going, no, we're not doing Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. We're not doing Halloween 2. And then the other day you turn around, it's like, you know what we should do? I think we should put Halloween 2 in there. It's like this was settled. I lived a peaceful life over the past
ignore it.
In the past year going, at least I don't have to watch Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And you spring this shit on me. And I'm just like, well,
you're right. It was quite a trap.
It was. And you sprung it.
I went Venus like Venus
flytrap. And there was nothing I could do because I was the one who originally suggested it.
Yeah.
But you argued your case, and I was like, that's great. That sounds fantastic. Whatever that reasoning is, great. We don't have to do it. And then you come up with this entirely opposite reasoning as why we should do it. When it's too late to do anything about it.
Oh, well.
So look out for that, everyone.
Yeah.
There won't. I mean, but here's it. Like, there's there's lots of unintentional humor in this movie.
Oh yeah,
I think we'll get the same from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
But the other thing about
there's nothing to enjoy about those movies.
Is it beckons for the darkest of humor, because what you're seeing before you, defies expectation.
No,
it's taste.
It's really tainted, isn't it? By yeah,
it's not good.
Yeah, and it just comes. I mean, it comes in so hot.
Yeah,
with everything. So, and that's the other remarkable thing about this. I mean, I don't really have any firm memories of the Amityville horror, but I didn't feel like the Lutzes went into the house strangling each other.
No, yeah.
And then the ghost just kind of tapped them on the shoulder and they killed each other. And that's what happens here.
Why don't you take that a step further?
Yeah. It also, but it's interesting because that counteracts the Amityville horror, because you're like, the ghost is an irrelevance. It's whatever the people do. It's their character that makes them.
They were murdery before they got there.
So,
well, do you have a last word for Amityville 2, The Possession?
No, I'm just glad you were there to see it. I
find it strangely compelling as a bad movie.
I don't think I could watch it again.
No,
I mean, I've seen it twice in 3 days, so
yeah, that's true.
That's rough for any movie, but particularly this one. I think it really is that the moment at which I was like, this is like a snuff movie, right? Yeah, this is that level of contraband, is when it's in the offhand moment, which may even be a joke, where one child puts a plastic bag over the other child's head and goes, ha ha, like that. And it is never mentioned again.
Right. This is what counts as horseplay in the family.
And just at that point, I was like, me and this movie, we parted ways now.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I mean, thank you for joining us. What can I say? Amityville 2, The Possession. Boy, that had a stranglehold on us for an hour and 44 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, can't quite believe what you're seeing as it's happening.
Easy.
No.
All right. Well, we appreciate
Happy Halloween,
you
everyone.
watching. Yeah.
This is our, that's we buried the lead here, is that this is also our Halloween watch along special, because next month we're going to be doing a James Bond film,
right?
And we'll be back in November with another watch along. So this is a, like Amity, like apparently all horror films, we're releasing them before Halloween to get that Halloween box office,
so that by the time you get to Halloween you'll have forgotten it.
Yeah, so it's fitting that we're
your nightmares will stop right around when Halloween comes.
Exactly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions, Michael Shantz here of the How Dare You Awards. We'll be back with another watch along. We're back to James Bond. Say goodbye, Tom.
Oh, my husband's guns. You better put those in the closet. The best part about that is he didn't.
Right. He put them in the murder garage. All right. So long, everyone.